reference mandatory. Okay, you can see this reference mandatory. So reference mandatory tells like whether to create a subsequent document, any preceding document is mandatory or not. Can I create an order independently without referring to any previous quotation or PO? Can I create a quotation independently without referring to any inquiry? Okay, so this particular reference mandatory tells what is when it's a reference mandatory and when it's not a reference mandatory. Suppose say let's take a scenario something like this. Okay, uh, your customer says that if I create an order for dealer or distributor or any other customer, system should create an order independently without referring to anything else. But if I creating an order for a government customer, but for sure system should refer to a quotation. Okay, so how you can do that? Okay, that means for any dealer or distributor anything, system should create an order independently without referring to anything else. But if I'm creating an order for government customer, system should mandatorily ask for a reference which is called quotation. Okay, so anyone how to do this? So you can give solution for this. Copy document type OR to something else like say ZOR or something, and in that make reference as mandatory quotation. That means whenever you're trying to create an order for government customer with a order type ZOR, system will for sure ask for a reference document quotation. Okay, so this feature will help you to solve some scenarios like this. But in real time, sorry, in standard, by default there are some processes for which reference is mandatory all the time. All the time if you want to create those documents, reference is mandatory. You cannot create those documents independently without referring to any previous document. What are they? SDF, subsequent delivery free of charge. You cannot create SDF independently, right? It should refer to something else. Why? Because an order has been already delivered, and you are delivering with reference to that same order. Invoice correction request. You cannot create invoice correction request without referring to any previous document. Is it rush order or written order? Madhuri, I could not get you. RO. Is it rush order? RO means rush order. RE. Written order means RE. Okay, document type RE for written order. Okay, so in standard for certain business processes and document types, we have something to be mandatory always. So you need not to go to SAP system also to find out this. I have listed everything in my document. Okay, just excuse me one moment. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so I have listed everything in my document. Okay, you can just go through the document and you can see everything, which is for which it's mandatory, which is not mandatory. Yeah, reference mandatory, you can see here. This field controls whether any preceding document is required to create a subsequent document or not. And in standard for RK and SDF we have reference mandatory. Okay. The next field is check division. Okay. So check division is in the sense like, see, in standard the division is determined from the header. Okay. For all the line items, you have 10 line items in the sales document. Okay. But the division is determined from the header, whatever you maintain at the header level. Okay. So what this division check division field controls is, it checks whether any of the item in the sales order is deviating from the standard division. Okay. So it checks and it gives a warning message or it gives an error message. You can control it, how system should behave. If any of the division in the item is deviating from the header, you can control it, how you should be notified. That means with a warning message or with an error message or no message, no dialogue, nothing. Okay, so that's the division. Division is nothing but this field controls how system should respond if the deviation in the header deviates from the item. So whether you want to give a warning message or no error message or no message. Then next is item division. Okay, so item division is nothing but for some line items you want to determine division at the item level. That means in the earlier field we discussed that division generally determines for the header level, but in some cases, in some scenarios, you want to determine item only from the item level. Okay, so when you want to do that, you need to activate this field called as item division. That means you cannot maintain item division and check division simultaneously. It's a contradiction. Why? Because if you maintain that, system will throw an error. Okay, you can maintain only one. Okay, so either you can tell system to take division only from header, or you can allow system to take for some line items to take the division from the item. Okay. So that's item division. And the next is material enter type. So this field controls like how the material should be entered in the sales document. That means whether material number or product category, different ways. How do you want to create this material? It controls it. Next is probability. If you remember, we have seen probability earlier. Anyone has an idea where we have seen the probability earlier? In the customer master sales area data sales tab, we have seen a probability. So system will do some calculation, that is customer probability, and this is the order probability. Okay, this order probability is applicable to all the customers, and that customer probability is applicable only to that customer. That means how best he is sticking to the orders what he placed, whether he is changing the quantities or whether he is cancelling the orders or something. What system will do is, system will take some formula and calculate saying that customer probability and order probability, and finally it will give some probability figure. Okay, so for that particular sales order, system will give that particular some what we call a probability. So that's what the probability field is for. So my system is very slow, SAP system, so I could not log in. I'll show these controls tomorrow, how to do some configuration probability also tomorrow. The next is read info record. That means you configured CMIR, customer material info record, earlier, but whether you want that information to be taken into this particular sales document or not. That means this field controls whether to determine the CMIR into the sales document. That means what fields you maintain in the CMIR, whether you want to give preference for those particular fields or not. If you activate, then only system will consider CMIR. If you don't activate, system will not consider CMIR. Then next is check purchase order number. See, sometimes what happens is, there is two users, okay, who works in the shift. So morning 6 to 2 o'clock one person works, and 2 to 8 o'clock one person works, suppose say. Okay, so user 1 has created one order for customer with reference to one PO, purchase order. So in the second shift, when user 2 has come, he is seeing a PO on his table and he has created one more order referring to the same PO. This is PO 101 and this is also same PO 101. That means for one PO, one purchase order, we are creating two orders. Customer is ordered only for 100 quantity in his purchase order, but you have created an order for 200 quantities. Okay, so see, system will not throw you a error message for this anyway. System will allow you to do that, but you can control. You can control for and you can ask system to check for this particular sold to party, and with this PO, is any order already created or not. If it's created, system will just warn you. Okay, if you want still create, press enter and go ahead and create one more order, no problem. Okay, so that's what this particular enter PO, not enter PO, this is check PO number controls. Okay, then next is this check purchase order number. The next is enter PO number. Enter PO number. See, in how many ways you can receive an inquiry, we discussed earlier. In what ways we receive an inquiry? It can be phone, it can be email, it can be walk-in, anything. Say suppose if customer is placing an order over phone, he may not provide you PO number, but without PO number sometimes system may not create an order. Why? Because it's a mandatory field. You need to enter a PO number as mandatory if you want to create a order. Okay, so when sometimes when customer is placing an order over phone and he is not providing you the PO number, then system will not allow you to create a order. So in those cases, how to handle? So that's the reason to handle these situations. What SAP has done is, if you activate this field called as enter PO number, this particular enter PO number, what system will do is, whenever you create an order, system will generate some number, right? System will generate some number. System will copy the sales order number into the PO number field. That means this field is not blank now. This field is filled with this particular sales order number itself. That means system will allow you to create a order, and you will pass on this number to the customer for any future reference regarding this order. Okay, so that's what this enter PO number controls. Okay, the next is Arun, you have any questions? Might be issue with your side, Arun. Why? Because I hope everyone can hear and see my screen well. So just see, exit and come back. Okay, so the next field is credit limit or credit man. It's yeah, credit limit. Yeah, I'll share the recorded video. Okay, so try to exit and come back once again and see whether it can fix you. Okay, so the next field is check credit limit. See, in SAP we can configure credit management two ways. Okay, in two ways. One is simple credit check, and one other is automatic credit check. Okay, we can configure credit management in SAP in two ways: simple credit check and automatic credit check. So simple credit check, we'll see this. So in this check credit limit, system will allow you to control whether you want to go for a simple credit check or an automatic credit check. So let's see what is the difference between a simple credit check and automatic credit check. So simple credit check, if you maintain simple credit check, system will block orders for customers only at the order level. Okay, only at the order level system can block the orders if customer credit limit exceeds. But if you maintain automatic credit check, you will have an advantage to block orders at order level, delivery level and PGI level. And in simple credit check, you don't have any concept of risk category. But coming to the automatic credit check, you have a concept of high risk, medium risk and low risk. That means you can categorize your customers like high risk customers, medium risk customers and low risk customers. If he is a high risk customers, block him at order level itself. He is a medium risk customer, block him at delivery level. If he is a low risk customer, block him at PGA level if their credit management is, if credit limit is exceeded. In simple credit check, system considers only receivables while performing credit check. Receivables means open items. Open items means you raised invoice to customers but they haven't paid you yet. Okay, so that is in simple credit check. But coming to automatic credit check, system controls, that means system will take into consideration in credit check, that is open order values, open delivery values, open invoice values, open item values. Okay, system will take these many into consideration when you want to go for the credit check. So majority of companies will go with the automatic credit check because of its sophisticated control. Okay, so if you want to go for automatic credit check, you need to maintain as D. Okay, you should maintain as D. But if you want to go for a simple credit check, you have an options to maintain as A, B, C. A means run a simple credit check and just give a warning message. That's it. System will allow you to create an order even though credit limit exceeds. B means run a credit check and block the order. Give error message means system will block the order. And the third is run a simple credit check and delivery block. For that order you cannot create a delivery. So this is a credit management what you can configure in multiple, that is either simple or either automatic. Okay, so we have one more field, the next, that is called as credit group. Credit group is applicable only for automatic credit check. Why? Because we just looked into that. In credit management, in automatic credit check, we have option to block at order level, delivery level and PGA level, right? So if you maintain credit check as a automatic D, in the earlier field, if you maintain it as D, then you can maintain this like A, B, C. That means whether to block at the order level, delivery level or invoice level. You can control that here. So that's what the credit group is. So this field controls which transaction to block, order or PGA or invoice. The next is commitment date. See, these all things once again tomorrow I'll show you in the system. I'll just quickly running by because my system is not opening, but I really want to show this in the system. What is the things? So you just give some reading and come back tomorrow so that I'll show you everything in the system. So commitment date. Commitment date is something like, see, if you maintain this field, in the schedule line tabs of an item, system will generate one more field called as committed date or committed quantity. This committed quantity field you will see in the schedule line of any sales order only when you maintain this particular commitment date in the controls. In the controls, then only you will see that. And what it controls, that is, for any sales order, if this committed quantity is maintained, system will give first preference in delivering this particular order. Why? Because you already committed the quantities, so no change in that. So system will give first preference in delivering for the orders which have committed quantity. Okay, I'll show this tomorrow how it activates in these things. Okay, the next is screen sequence group. Okay, so screen sequence group controls that which screen should be displayed or which not to be done. That means, and see, screen sequence group, just a minute. Transaction, screen sequence. Yeah, screen sequence group. It's an important thing when it comes to the real time. Why? Because see, in the customer master, we have many fields, but what we are doing, we are going to account groups and we are controlling, right? Like what screens to be shown, what not to show, and these all things we are controlling in the customer master with account groups. With the help of account groups, we are controlling, we are suppressing, we are making mandatory like that. So likewise, in sales orders also you will have tons of fields which may not be useful for the users to look into. Okay, so either you certain fields you want to make it mandatory. So how you can control? So what fields to see, what fields not to see, that's controlled by screen sequence group. Okay, the transaction code to create a new, that's transaction variant. Okay, that's different. Okay, anyway, screen sequence group. Then next is display range. We have two kinds of display range, that is all and EHUH something. Two controls we have in standard. Okay, so what this particular display range controls is, when you explode a bomb, whether you want to explode a single level bomb or multi-level bomb. That means whether you want to show only components, that means you are creating a product called as computer in sales document, whether you want to just only show computer or whether you want to show computer along with its components like say CPU, monitor, like this. UHAU, this is one option, and UAll is one option. If you maintain UHAU, system will show only computer, the main item. If you maintain UAll, system will show everything, computer along with all its components, system will show it. Okay, so that's what this display range controls, and it's applicable only for the BOM product, or it is applicable only for the configurable products. So I just given an introduction here, and you have the complete configuration document in the config documents what I send you for the BOM. So just go ahead and create a BOM material and try the scenario in the BOM. The next is incompletion procedure. Incompletion procedure is again like something mandatory. Okay, it's a mandatory. That means there are certain fields which are mandatory for any sales order. Without that field, system will not allow you to create a sales order. Okay, like plant, shipping point, ship to party, terms of conditions. Without these, can I create an order? No, right? If I don't know who is the ship to party, how can I create? If I don't know what is the terms of payment agreed for that customer, how can I create an order? Okay, and if I don't know plant, from which plant to deliver for this customer, how can I create an order? Shipping point. So there are certain mandatory fields which should be maintained in the sales document. If this field is missing, then system will not allow you to create a sales order. So you can save the sales order, it's fine, but the document is incomplete. The document is not complete, and you cannot process any document further if it is an incomplete document. Okay, so this incompletion procedure, is altogether a concept where you will be configuring completely, and you will assign that value here, so that system will follow that methodology. So this procedure consists of list of mandatory fields which user has not entered while creating a sales document. If any of the mandatory field is missing, then system will not allow you to save the sales document. Even though system allows you to save the sales document, the status of the document is incomplete, and you cannot process in any further an incomplete document. Okay, the next field is F code. For F code means it is function code for overview screen. Okay, so when you log in, you will be having lot of tabs, but what tab should be displayed at the first when you enter into the sales document screen? Okay, which screen should be displayed? We have item overview, we have sales 1, sales B, we have ordering party, like this. We have different multiple tabs. So what tab should be shown when you enter into the sales document for the first time? Okay, next is transaction group and transaction variant. Again, it's creating a new transaction, very important in the real time. Also, they will for sure ask in the interviews, did you work on any Z transactions? Yes, you should obviously work on Z transactions. And the transaction variant SHD0 is the T code to create a new transaction variant. I'm just checking with my system. Okay, let me also try SHD0. SHD0. Get transaction screen variant. So give the transaction code for which you want to change the fields or values, mandatory, these all things. So suppose what is the transaction code to create a sales order? VA01, and give some transaction name here. Okay, sales something, any name, okay, and just uh, create, click on create, enter. So system will show you all the fields there which you want to make as mandatory, not mandatory, these all things. That means you can create a new transaction code here. And suppose say in the earlier we have discussed one scenario, that is for government customer, system should create an order with only ZOR for which reference is mandatory. Likewise, instead of VA01 for all the customers, you can create a ZA01 transaction code. And for all government orders, you need to create order only with a transaction code ZA01 and order type should be ZOR. So how you create this transaction? You create the transaction here in the transaction variant. You create it here. Okay. You just give all the values OR Z900 X1 24. Okay. System will show you all these fields in one single screen where you can manage you see. So create a sales order. I'm going with VS01 transaction code, but you can create your own transaction code and you can control here these all fields what you see in the sales document, like whether it's only a display purpose or invisible, that means suppress, or mandatory, required, like this. You can control the screen variant here. Okay. See, I was talking about one more probability, right? If you see probability here, it's 100% and it's grayed out. You cannot change this value. Your client is saying that, hey, all the time my probability of a document is not 100%, it is only 70%. I want to change that to 70%, but it's a grayed out. You cannot change this. If you remember, I told you that OR is only document sake, but what controls this OR? What tells system this is a order document category C? If I go to quotation, let's see what is the document category for quotation. Okay, so quotation anyway, it's a B, the value document category is B. Uh, okay, okay, QT. Okay, QT, it is B. And here the probability is 70. Okay, so what can I do? For order, if I change it to B, system will, okay, now it is editable. Just 70 I can make it, okay, but is it correct? No. Why? Because it is a quotation. So what you can do now, again change it to sales document category C, and you see 100 has been changed to 70 and it has been grayed out, and this is still an order. So this is how a small technique you can configure here itself. You need not to go for enhancement or something for this. Okay, but don't disturb the standard. So come back to B and change it to 100, and again change this to C. Okay, and commitment date anyway I'll show you tomorrow. It will take a lot of time for me to create this, or let me try it. Let us execute it. At least by end of the session, if it's open, I can show you. Nope, it's not opening. Okay, anyway, we'll go on discussing, and tomorrow at least I'll show you that one thing. So F code screen overview we just discussed, and transaction variant we just looked into. And the what is the T code to maintain a transaction variant? That is SHD0, very important in the real time. Okay, SHD0. The next field is quotation message, outline agreement message, and you'll have some more messages actually, not one. Let me just check. Yeah, quotation message, outline message, master contract messages, product attribute messages, incomplete messages. So this all messages is nothing but when you're doing some transaction, suppose you are creating a quotation, sorry, when you're creating an order, system will check whether for this order or for this sold to party any quotation is pending or not. If it's any quotation is pending, system will first tell you that create a order with reference to that quotation. Okay, so this field messages, what it controls is how system should react whenever something is going wrong. It's not wrong, it's just like updating users. Suppose say you are creating a customer an order, But for the same product, you have a contract agreement with customer, but you are creating an independent order now. So system will tell that there is an open contract, okay, open contract available for this customer. Try to create order with reference to that particular contract. Don't create an independent order. Why? Because a contract is already pending for this customer. Okay, so this all messages control something like this. Whenever it's going out of the standard, it controls. So we looked into variant. Status profile. See, status profile is again altogether a concept. So status profile is something like if you want to authorize some documents, okay, that means you have credit memo, debit memos, you know, credit memo, debit memo, that should be authorized by someone. Why? Because credit memo and debit memo, we already discussed that when you create that, it will be automatically having a billing block and someone has to release it. Even for sales order also, or quotation, especially quotation, when you send a quotation to customer, what you will be doing, you will be sending material, you will be sending terms and conditions, you will be giving price and this all things. What is that something, whether it's correct or not, what all the details you have provided here correct or not, it should be cross-checked and it should be authorized and it should be verified by some higher person and give the what we call acceptance. So status profile is something like a authorization mechanism. User create an order with VS01, but this order is blocked. An authorized person has to again log into the order with change mode and check all things and correct again. So at various level, that means suppose a first is sales manager, next is senior sales manager, next is general manager, like this. You can give an authorizations. So when you create a status profile, system will generate some number. So that number you need to assign it here in the status profile, so that if you assign a status profile for the document type OR, whenever you create an order for the document type, that order should be cross-checked and verified by a authorized person and they have to release it. Okay, so that's what the status profile is all about. So status profile is nothing but authorization and order release mechanism. After creating a sales order by end user, the order will be sent to the authorized person. He has to cross-check and he has to release. The next field, alternative calculation type and alternative sales document type and document 2. See, we just discussed that we have two document types. One is OR for standard customers and ZOR for the government customers. Okay, but suppose say your user by mistake he has created an order for a government customer with a document type OR. Later he realized what he need to do. He need to delete this order and again create an order. Why to waste time? SAP gives an option for you. You can switch between document types. You can switch between document types so that you can copy the data from here to here, so that you will not waste users time. Okay, so this document, sales document 1 and 2, helps in that way. But see, if you want this to be happen, the number ranges for the both document types should be same. If the number ranges for the both document type is same, then only system will allow you to do or swap between the document types. So in completion message, it's nothing but just giving a warning if some fields are missing. Variations we already discussed, SHD0. Yeah, the most important field, the next coming is delivery. If you remember, we discussed about cash sales and rush order. What in the cash sales and rush order is controlling that you trigger automatically a delivery in the backend? That is this shipping condition field. Now I am in the standard OR. You see the shipping condition field is blank. But if I go to cash sales CS, you see in the CS, shipping condition 10, in my delivery X. If I go to rush order, the same controls. Shipping condition 10, immediately and immediate delivery. So this is what the controls controlling the system, saying that when you create an order with cash sales or rush order, trigger delivery automatically in the background. This is what the controls. And delivery types, standard. is LF. Cash sales, BV. Cash sales, it's BV. Returns, RE, it is LR. It's LR for the order. Delivery type for credit memo, what is it? Blank. Why? Credit memo does not have any delivery, it's blank. So your knowledge should be going to this depth. You should know all the controls, you should know the flow, how it's happening. Okay. At the same time, next is billing documents. Go to the OR, the billing block in the bottom. OR, the standard billing document type is F2. If I go to cash sales, it's BV. Okay, cash sales, it's BV. If I go to return orders, RE, it's LR, sorry, RE. If I go to SDF, what is SDF? We don't have a invoice, it's only a pro forma invoice. It is F8. Okay, pro forma invoice, anyway, it is F8. Okay. The next, credit memo. And see, coming to invoice, again you have order related invoice and the delivery related invoice. If you see here, order related invoice, credit memo is an order related invoice and G2. If I go to order, it is a delivery related invoice. You can see the field maintained in the delivery related invoice. Okay. The next is condition type line items. If your cost price is dependent, sorry, if your selling price is dependent upon your cost price, then you maintain EK01. If your selling price is not dependent upon your cost price, you maintain EK02. Okay. So EK01, EK02. EK01 is if your selling price is totally dependent upon your cost, then EK01. If your selling price is not dependent upon cost, then EK02. Okay. And billing plan types. We have two kinds of billing plans. One is periodic billing and one is milestone billing. Delivery related billing plans. Delivery related billing type. Yeah, billing plan type, periodic billing and milestone billing. So what this plan type controls is, let's say first periodic billing. Periodic billing is for interest, what you charge for interest, lease amount, rental amount. That means which happens more than one time in a regular interval. Periodic, every month. Okay, which happens more than one time in regular intervals. Okay, that is nothing but periodic billing. Milestone billing is nothing but, suppose say you take a bank loan, home loan. Will they disperse all the amount in one go? No. What they will do? They'll disperse amount in stages. Milestone billing is applicable in infrastructure projects where you pay when some work is done. Okay. You lay you construct walls, they'll be releasing some amount. You put the roof, they'll be giving some amount. Like this. Milestone billing means certain activity has to be finished to raise a bill. Okay. Type time in days. So lead time in days is like, say, it will override the RLT. We'll see this once we come to the concept called as availability check. Okay. So if we maintain this particular, system will override the RLT. RLT means replenishment lead time, which we learned in the Metal Master. Okay. So you'll be learning this at that time. You'll clearly understand. Next is proposed delivery date. If this is a check indicator, if you check this, then system will propose today date as the requested delivery date for the customer in the sales document. If you uncheck it, system will not propose a requested delivery date. The next is propose PO date. If you check this, system will take today's date as PO date. If you uncheck it, system will not propose a PO date into the sales document. The next field is date type. That means how you write your date, in a week or month or days. Okay, weeks or month, how you do that, that's controlled by delivery type. sorry, date type. Okay, so these are the controls what we have in the sales document type. Okay, so we discussed all the controls which is required for you guys. So commitment date, only that field is left. I'll be showing you tomorrow in the system that commitment date. So please go through this, all the controls, read it, see in the system, and you should be in a position to solve these all scenarios by this weekend. Okay, real-time scenarios related to this particular sales document type. Okay, most probably we already discussed many things in our discussion itself, but see how you will answer for this in your own terminology. Okay, so any other questions for today? So we'll call it a day today here. Why? Because we finished a major topic. So tomorrow we'll start item categories. So any questions, anyone? Okay, so hope so no questions. I'll be sharing this video to you guys mostly by tomorrow morning. So read this, see the controls in the system. See, interview patterns has been changed actually. Earlier interview pattern is something like they used to ask what is item division, what is check division, what is uh, reference mandatory. Okay, in earlier they used to ask like this, but now they are pushing the ball into your code. So now the questions are, can you please tell me 5 controls out of the sales document? See, if I ask you what is check division, you will answer. If I ask you what is commitment date, you will answer. But when I ask you tell 5 to 10 fields in sales document, it will not strike immediately into your mind. Okay, so now the interview pattern is they are pushing the ball into your code. They are asking this to you. Okay, please tell me some controls. So if you start telling something like say indicator, commitment date, something like it, they'll suddenly stop you. Okay, commitment date. How you used commitment date in your project? Can you tell me one scenario? Okay, so this is how the interview is questions are. So you read this and attempt this scenario so that you'll be perfect with all the concepts what we discussed today. Okay, so let's catch up tomorrow and we'll be starting a new concept, that is item categories. Okay, so good night everyone. Bye bye.